Hello, I chose for my level 3 activity, I chose to do gaming, and I specifically want to look at xpmath.com. On this Prezi, I have two or three different videos that I uploaded on YouTube that will give you kind of a taste of what I'm talking about. So to get started, I'd love to just kind of introduce and demonstrate the website. So let's go ahead and take a brief tour. I want to introduce you to xpmath.com. This is the login screen, and as you can see, the tagline of XPmath Games is that it integrates the Common Core standards into the math classroom. And so if you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, it starts with kind of elementary grades and works up to 5th, 6th, and 7th. Since I teach 7th grade, I want to show you this. It talks about ratios and proportional relationships, the number systems, and each of these links is a link to a game that actually uses some of those skills. And so you can kind of see the organization of the games. You can kind of use the Common Core standards. Right here is actually a place where you can print. It talks about whole number math games, and these numbers actually represent the Common Core standards that these games relate to. And I think that's a pretty neat feature of the website, that it takes you through all these specific Common Core standards that teachers are trying to work on in the classroom. Now I want to go back to the main page. As you see, the games are also listed out by categories such as numbers and operations. You've got algebra, all the algebra games, geometry, measurement, data analysis, and probability. Another pretty neat feature of this is you can actually set up a classroom. If you're a teacher, you can set up a classroom. It's very simple. You basically put in some information and send it off to XPmath. As you notice right here, you can list a student roster, and XPmath will then send you usernames and logins for all of your students. Some of the things that teachers are able to see when they have this kind of access is the following. I'm going to click on, let's look at whole number operations. So this is what I would see as a teacher as I log in again. If my students are playing the Math Fighter game, these are the standards that it's working on. And this is what I can see. On the left is a list of all my students, and this shows me how many times they've played the game, their top 5 scores. I can even click on these buttons to say, okay, who had the top score? So Love for my dogs has the top score, followed closely by the second student. I can also click on individual student reports, such as right here, and it will tell me all the different games that this student has played. If we kind of scroll down here, so you kind of see all the different games and how they're categorized into different sections there. If I clicked on this game in particular, it would take me to the actual game that they were playing. So kind of a unique feature of this website. Let's go ahead and go back to the original page that the teachers can look at. Let's go ahead and see one of these video games in action. So here we are. Let's take a look at Plinko. The first game I'm going to show you is called Plinko, The Probability is Right. So we'll click here to start. Notice that there's going to have a question here on the right side. And so let's get started. So what is the probability of winning $500? So I'll count down here. It looks like it's going to be 1 out of 10. That's going to be 10%. So now I have 2 chips that I'm going to be able to drop down to earn some points. It's going to increase my cash, which is basically my score for the game. Let's get a 1,000. I get a chance to drop another one down. Let's see what it comes out to here. Let's get 100. Now notice as the second question is being asked, there's a little timer going up here where it goes from 4 chips down to 3, 2, and 1. So there's incentive built in to answer the question as quickly as possible because you have a chance to drop more chips. Now it says, what is the probability of winning $0? And the answer is going to be 20%. Let's act like I put 30%, which is obviously wrong. I can also click on a hint, and as the hint fades is the answers will be highlighted. There's 1, 2. I'll click 20% and proceed. What's neat about this game is it doesn't just ask the same type of probability questions. It'll say, what's the probability of not getting 1,000, or what's the probability of getting more than 100? Right here it says not winning $0. So there's just one example of a game on excelmath.com. If you look on the right side of the screen, it talks about the all-time high score, which is 117,000, the score for this particular year. I can also click on this link, which takes me to look at all the high scores from different students over the past year or so. So there's one example of a math game on excelmath.com. The second game I want to show you on xpmath.com is one that's found under Number and Operations, and it's called the Math Fighter Integer Operations game. I love this game for two reasons. Number one, as you notice, you can play against the computer or you can play against another person. And when you play against a computer, I believe there are 10 different levels you can play, and so the computer gets better and better every time. The second thing I like about this is that it's compatible with all interactive whiteboards, which means in my classroom we have smartboard technology, so I could actually put this game up on the screen and the students could play the game kind of using their fingers on my smartboard screen to play the game. So I think that's kind of a cool feature. I'm actually going to choose the two-player game. Obviously, I'm going to be the one that's going to play each player. So what you have is you got a timer ticking down up here, and then you've got choices on the left and choices on the right. So each person has 4 different options to choose from. If you get it right, obviously you get points. Your life is taken away from the other person. I'll go -20. If I miss the problem, such as there, it gives the other person a free time to respond, so they can go ahead and choose 8. And then you see a little bit of my life is taken away. So the players can go back and forth. As you can see, you can kind of compete until this timer runs out. Now, some of you may sit there and say, hey, this is kind of a violent game, but I honestly don't think it's that huge of a deal in the sense that I teach single gender classes, so I have classes of all boys and all girls. And if I play this in my all boys class, I think it's nice that these two figures are stick figures, so they don't really resemble real people in a lot of ways. But I think boys would love the competition aspect of this. I think both versus the computer and against each other. And I can see some kind of neat class competitions being started in my own classroom by using this tool. Let's talk about enhancing the 4 C's. I understand that the XP Math does not kind of go into great detail in terms of what the other kind of more intense strategic video games go into, but I do think that we can learn a few things from the XP Math games, and also I just want to talk in general about gaming and how gaming enhances the 4 C's. One thing which I even think about with the games I showed you is that these games enhance motivation among students, which I think often then allows the students to think critically and think creatively. We know how many students shut down in a classroom because they're not interested or because they get frustrated when they get something wrong. And as you see point 2, it says failure is leveraged as an opportunity for constructive learning. The thing that video games do, and especially the games I showed you, they give students a chance to fail and to keep going. It's not as if they turn in a quiz or a test or homework assignment and they get a grade and that's it. The learning in effect never stops. The students can continue playing the games each time. A few other things is that with the discussion boards, and this I didn't actually get a chance to show you, but XP Math does have discussion boards. And it allows students a chance to talk about the games and talk about how to solve particular math problems. I think this feature could be enhanced, which I'll talk about in a second. Also, if you look at number 4, players can use past experiences, learned skills, and feedback to progress through gameplay in an effective and organized manner. And I really like the idea of games being able to challenge students where they are and then move from that level to go on to the next level. Another point 5, I'm talking about gaming enhancing the 4 C's, is that instead of students just having to memorize facts for the sake of memorizing facts, they can actually learn things through the context of playing games. Thus, they'll actually create a great body of knowledge where they don't just memorize stuff, but it's actually they learn it through a particular context.
the last two things, which we've mentioned, games provide a contextualized experience that allows learning through practice, failure, reflection, and repetition. And games can promote collaboration as players need to work together on shared goals, either face-to-face or virtually. And again, I like the aspects of games being able to create a space for students to talk or students and teachers to interact about how to solve a particular problem in a way that they normally wouldn't be able to. If I could critique XP Math, a couple things I would say is kind of a practical thing. I would love for the user to have an on-screen scratch pad for use of the tablet computer. Students in my school have tablets and can actually write on their computer screens. And that would be a great feature if students could actually write on the screens for some of the more advanced problems to help them in their problem solving. I would love to see an enhancement of the discussion board so that students can access the discussion boards on a sidebar actually while they're playing the game, which I think will increase collaboration and communication, which are two big components of the 4 C's. And lastly, I think that the last two things, if you could add interactive lessons that coincide with the game, such as using tutorial videos like Khan Academy, I think this could add to the user experience by giving them kind of a 2 or 3 minute lesson on how to actually do a particular math concept and then actually play it in the game. And the last thing, which I said, is that I think this game only scratches the surface and how gaming can be used for learning. I think a couple of cool enhancements to this particular website would be to allow the user to create math games or to work with other students to create games. And I think it would be neat to have multi-level games that combine different math concepts. So students could start with adding integers and move to subtracting integers, and they could solve problems in order of operations. And each of those topics would be a different level in the game. Again, I think these two things would enhance creativity and critical thinking. I know I'm running out of time, so quickly I want to tell you that I used these 3 articles to kind of enhance my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much.